Manhunt protocol activated. Pestilence loaded. SHD watching now. LMG cocking sound.
I'm about to run for my life. I gotta run for my life. I gotta run.
Chopper go grind, ta ta.
Yeah, I saw that.
Bullets rotate. Pestilence singing this.
Shoot that guy no more. Yo, he did a roll off that bitch.
21. Lengmo brand set backbone, unbreakable. Turmoil knee pads, cheeks clap, unmistakable. Precision smart cover, damage multiply. Target out of cover, that's a homicide.
Man, this shit almost got me killed because I couldn't go around cover. So fast. Did I just respawn again? What did the Reviver High say to this build? I'm sick of your shit. Dag joke of the day. What is going on, Dags? If you're new to the channel, welcome to DTTOC Gaming. I'm your host, Nox, where my favorite thing to do is respawn, and it's not because I'm good. For today's video, I am going over my Bewildered Plague build, aka the Pestilence, rocking the Turmoil knee pads.
These Turmoil knee pads, right? They're not just for show, Dags. Save my bacon more times than I can count.
If you do not have the Turmoil knee pads as of right now, the devs did announce in their last Q&A stream that they are redropping the Lexington AR and the Turmoil knee pads. So if you didn't get them, you are in luck because you are going to be able to get them. Not sure when, but you will be. But in the meantime, if you do not have the Turmoil knee pads, I invite you to check out one of my other Pestilence builds that do not utilize the Turmoil knee pads. I'll post a link in the comments to the other builds that do not utilize the Turmoil knee pads. But for the sake of this video, I'm going to only focus on using the Pestilence with the Turmoil knee pads. And I'm going to be going min, max, all out, maximum amount of damage that you can dish out with the Turmoil knee pads. And if you've seen my other videos, of course, you already know I'm going to have the glass cannon. Glass cannon is pretty much a staple in all my loadouts because, like I said, my favorite thing to do is respawn. And Lord, oh Lord, we do like to respawn. Before I go any farther, let's take a brief pause for the community shout out. Alrighty, back today's community shout out is going to be the real Miss Hides TV. Right now, she is sitting at 400 subscribers and she has a community goal to hit 500 subscribers. So make sure you guys hit that subscribe to support her channel. Here's a little bit more information about her. She does go live almost daily and she does stream other games like the Watch Dogs too. So if that's something you're interested in, definitely give her a check out. Alright, Dags, let's get into my 2 cents about this build, the Bewildered Plague. So the goal of this build is to do as much tick damage as possible while doing a respectable amount of actually on-hit damage. I'll get into more details once we get to the build breakdown, but the gist is we are going to be utilizing TRK Custom with the Precision Smart Cover to give us even more damage. And as of right now, making this video, the Turmoil knee pads are double dipping certain attributes to the secondary target of the Bewildered talent. They're not supposed to work like this. They did patch it, but for whatever reason it is double dipping again, so they might actually end up repatching it to not to double dip again once they re-release the Turmoil knee pads to drop again. It's a little tongue twister, but in the meantime, let's enjoy the double dipping while it's there, right? And as always, this is just a template. This is not the only way that you can play this type of loadout and build. So I encourage you guys to put your own little twist and to cater to your playstyle. And if you got cool ideas, drop a comment below. That way you could share it with the community. Because yes, the Pestilence is my favorite LMG and exotic to use, and I have a plethora of builds utilizing it. I will never have enough time to test everything. That's why we have the community, right? So let's put our 2 cents together and make an awesome build. Either way, when it comes to the Pestilence, one of the biggest benefits to the Pestilence is having higher expertise. I do have mine at 30 expertise, so I'm going to always hit harder than somebody who doesn't have any expertise. And with higher expertise, getting that additional 30% weapon damage allows us to add more like utility to the build, put a couple more blue cores, maybe yellow cores, run some off-meta type of brand sets, gear sets, whatever. And to be 100% honest, if you have an expertise 30 Pestilence, it doesn't matter what kind of build you have on heroic and below content, you're just going to shred.
And then, my suite. With the help of Turmoil knee pads, 2 cheeks were clapped at once.
As long as you have a semi-decent build, you're going to have no issue clearing any heroic and below content with a fully maximized, optimized, expertise Pestilence. So just keep that in mind when you check out my builds and my loadouts. I always have all my guns fully expertise, which allows me to do some crazy min-maxing type of stuff. And if you're a new agent and you don't have too much expertise, I do have a guide that talks about getting your expertise level up. But in the meantime, if you're going to play with the Pestilence with a lower expertise, you're kind of going to be bottlenecked into having to play more red cores and more offensive type of builds to make it worthwhile using, which isn't a problem. So just get in there and just have a good time. It don't matter. And I'm going to be showcasing this loadout and legendary content because I'm a crazy SOB. And if a build works in legendary content, it's more than likely going to work in heroic and below content. And when it comes to the tick damage of the Pestilence, take a look at this chart. Pause it if you need to, but the main benefit of having high tick damage is that your ticks will literally take out all the enemies for you. You can build up the Plague of the Outcast one time and just sit behind cover, and then it's going to literally go from enemy to enemy, taking them all out as long as you have enough tick damage. And that's why Pestilence is really awesome when you have high tick damage, because when you have to reload and sit behind cover, your Gorlex the Destroyer ticks are going to go ahead and continue taking out enemies. And then when you have the Plague doing its thing, bouncing around the map, ticking, all you have to do is focus on one enemy. I usually go for the Leech or a Changa, and the Bewildered Talon is going to do its thing and just jump around the whole map, spreading out the damage. And then when the primary target that you are shooting finally goes down, it's going to have a fully stacked Plague, and it's just going to literally like jump around the map, one tapping all the lower HP enemies. And that is why this loadout can literally clear rooms. More so when you're playing solo. When you're playing in a group, it won't be as fast, but you're still going to pretty much do the same thing. And another beauty about this loadout is that you could literally play it anywhere, any type of content, except for maybe like, you know, raids or incursions. So all your legendary missions, all your heroic missions, invaded missions, open world activities, control points, public executions, bounties, you're just going to be clapping cheeks 2 at a time.
2 at a time, Dags. Give me them double cheeks.
I'm starting to ramble on, so let's wrap it up. In summary, this build is the equivalent of Gorlex the Destroyer. It is going to be the bane of all the enemies that you encounter. And the biggest draw for me is that this loadout is super fun to play, especially now that we have a new skin for the Pestilence, which is beautiful. Alrighty, Dax, let's go to the build break.
All right, Dags, let me introduce you to my baby. This right here, this is the Pestilence.
Alrighty, Dax, so this is the way that I like to run my Garatatata. Alrighty, Dax, this is the loadout for my Bewildered Plague build, aka the Pestilence with the Turmoil kneepads. We're going to start off with the Gunner specialization. And of course, we got the Pestilence. It comes with the Talent Plague of the Outcast. You already know that. Secondary doesn't matter. I have the cooler here just to shoot my teammates with. And then for the sidearm, it does matter. You're going to want to have the TDI card custom for that +1 skill tier. I have it with the Future Perfect. And I did post a full breakdown on why the TI card custom works really well with the Precision Smart Cover. But the gist of it is, by just holding the TI card custom, you get that +1 skill tier. And if you get lucky and get a kill, you could get additional skill tier up to +3 skill tiers. And then you put out the Precision Smart Cover. It is actually going to stay at whatever skill tier you were when you stuck this in the wall. And right now I don't have any skill tier, so I'm only getting 14% damage to target out of cover. But with a +1 skill tier that you get from just holding the TI card custom, we are going to get an additional 7% damage to target out of cover. So that's pretty much free damage. If you wanted more details, I posted a video breaking that down. For the chest piece, of course, we have the Perfect Glass Cannon from the Sacrifice, double crit. This thing right here is going to give us 30% amplified damage, which is going to work really well in this loadout. But just keep in mind, we will take 60% incoming damage. And the reason why we have Glass Cannon is because it works really well with the Turmoil kneepads. It comes double crit, and it has the Talent Bewildered. So the gist of these kneepads is you're going to split up the damage 50%, but the secondary target is actually going to take double dip damage from amplified damage sources like Glass Cannon, and from damage to target out of cover. Damage to health and damage to armor don't work with it, so don't worry about that. So with this loadout, we have the Perfect Glass Cannon giving us 30% amplified damage. We got the 12% damage to target out of cover on the Pestilence, and then we have the damage to target out of cover from the Precision Smart Cover. And all of those sources right there are going to double dip to the secondary target. And that's how we're able to do some serious damage with this loadout. Then for the gloves, I have Contractor gloves right here. These things are really great from any type of LMG build. You get the 10% LMG damage from the Brand set. It comes with the attribute damage to armor at 8%. And then I got critical hit chance on this bad boy. And then finally, for the last 3 pieces, I have Lengmo, because with that 3-piece Lengmo, you're going to get that 30% LMG damage. And that's going to both increase the damage you do with shooting enemies and with the Plague of the Outcast. Here's the holster, the mask. And then finally, for the backpack, we have the name Lengmo Backbone. And it comes with the Talent Perfectly Unstoppable Force. In this loadout, Perfectly Unstoppable Force is a beast. We're going to get 35% total weapon damage. And this total weapon damage, unlike some other total weapon damage, actually boosts the damage that your Plague of the Outcast does. And when it comes to the critical hit chance, critical hit damage, it doesn't matter where you put it. You want to aim for at least 50% critical hit chance and dump the rest into critical hit damage. And you could even use some weapon handling if you want, because the handling on the Pestilence is pretty doo-doo and it has a pretty long reload speed. And then for the skills you saw, I got the Precision Smart Cover. And then for the secondary skill, you can put whatever you want. If I'm running Legendary, so I have the Reviver Hive. And if I'm running like, normal stuff, I'll have the Booster Hive right here because it does give you that weapon handling and help me shoot more rounds down range. Here's the stats without the modifiers activated. I have 54% critical hit chance, 129 critical hit damage, got 98 headshot damage. And all three of those numbers are going to go up once I have my active modifiers active. And then for the defense, we do have 80k armor on kill to help us stay alive. Alrighty, for the modifiers, if I'm playing legendary content, I do end up using Tech Link just to get my Reviver Hive back up from being on cooldown if I go down. But for heroic and below content, I never use my active modifier. It is not needed. Because for heroic and below content, I just prefer to have the passive modifiers always active because multitasker is really, really good. We got the best kind of defense and we got loaded up. And if I'm playing on legendary, I will actually switch out my multitasker for tech upgrades. This is pretty good as well. It lets your Precision Smart Cover stay on the ground longer. So this is a loadout I've been using for a hot minute ever since the Turmoil kneepads came out. This is just my template and this is the way I prefer to play it. And for the most part, this loadout is pretty easy to farm for besides the Turmoil kneepads. But if you don't want to run the sacrifice, you could run a regular Lengmo chest piece, but these things are hard to find because you got to find it with glass cannon, double crit, so you can re-roll the core attribute to red. I don't even have the unicorn piece, so that's why I don't ever really recommend it. Alrighty, Dags, that is the build that I'm using, the Bewildered Plague, aka Turmoil kneepads with the Pestilence. I really enjoy playing this loadout. I don't mind playing with glass cannon, and if glass cannon isn't your cup of tea, I wouldn't recommend running Turmoil kneepads. I'll just run the Fox's Prayer kneepads instead. And you could check out the other Pestilence builds I have that do not utilize the Turmoil kneepads. Either way, let me know if you're excited to finally get your hands on a Lexington and a Turmoil kneepads when they finally release them. Re-release them. Yeah, re-release them. Freaking tongue twister. But either way, if you made it this far, make sure to like the video, drop a comment below, and make sure you guys have subscribed. If you want to help out the channel. That's all for now. Get out there and clap cheeks. Not one cheek, but 2 cheeks at a time.
Dags, we are not all created equally. Clapping cheeks is just a side effect of stroking this big boy.